Alright, this video will be the follow-up to video 3-1 that I just did for my Tech Ed 1 3A class. Again, this is for week 14 remote learning. Specifically, we completed 3-1 in the last video. I'm now going to do the part 3-2 drawing. Like I said before, block A should have been done prior to break, so I will not be going over that one since that one has already been produced. So focusing on block 3-2, I'm going to go ahead and left click on this. Open it with my Adobe Acrobat Reader so I can make sure I can see it full screen. And bring it over my Adobe. Take a look at the part we have today. So again, looking at this one here, let's make a little plan of action. So what I think I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to go ahead and start off with a rectangle. From the top view, I'm going to extrude it up this distance right here, which in this case will be 10 millimeters. I then will highlight this top face and create a new sketch where I will draw this L shape all the way around. I will go ahead and extrude that up 40 minus 10, 30 millimeters. And then I'm going to come back, highlight this face to the left, create a square on there and cut through. Come back for the fourth step, highlight this face, draw a rectangle, and cut through this way. Okay, there's lots of ways you can approach this. Some of you may want to do it from the top view and draw a rectangle here, another rectangle right over here. You can cut downward. However you want to approach this, you could draw this as a block if you wanted to. Draw this rectangle and cut it down 30 millimeters. That would be fine also. Whatever way you would like to do it. I prefer what I call the cake method, which is to add layers on. Some people prefer to do a subtractive method, which is to start with a block and cut everything away. Okay, your call which way you want to go. I'm just telling you which way I'm going. So I'm going to pull this over to the side so I can show you my screen. Go ahead and get my SOLIDWORKS back up and running. Actually close off what I did last time. And start with a new inch part. Just like we did in 3-1. I'm going to go ahead and start on the top plane for this one with a new sketch. So I'm going to go to my sketch toolbar and turn on sketch. And I'm going to start with a simple corner rectangle tool. Attach to the origin and just draw a rectangle up and towards my upper right, left click and hit escape. F key to center it up. I'm going to go ahead and dimension this, and actually I just messed this up because I realized that this is supposed to be in metric. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to close this part out, discard all the changes, and close this. Don't save. File new. I just realized this is metric. I didn't look very carefully. Even Mr. Combs gets himself messed up sometimes. And go back and start a new metric part. I apologize for that. Okay, same thing. Top plane, new sketch, corner rectangle. Start from here and pull up and to your right. Left click, hit escape, F key. Turn your smart dimension. We are going to dimension this top line here to 100 millimeters. This right hand line will be 60 millimeters. Now I see it in all black, which tells me it's fully defined. I now can go ahead and do my extrusion. I'm going to go over to my features toolbar, extrude boss base, and I'm just going to build the bottom piece first. Now again, if you want to go and go up to 40 millimeters and cut everything away, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to go ahead and start by going 10 millimeters, hit my check mark, starting with this base piece right here. Now my habit is I like to add my material to this part right away. Okay, and if you look at the note on this tool, or excuse me, this drawing right here, today we're going to draw this piece out of brass. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go over here to my design tree, where it says material not specified. I'm going to right click, edit material. Instead of steel, brass is under copper alloys. So if you expand copper alloys, you'll see brass about a third of the way down. Left click on it, apply, you see it in the background, turn like a gold color, and then hit close. Now I'm going to highlight this top face right here. I'm going to start a new sketch, and then I'm going to hit my space bar and go to my normal to view. So it's going to rotate it flat to the screen. I'm going to turn on my line tool. I'm going to start from the far right here, attach to this corner, left click, pull line all the way to this corner over here, left click, pull all the way down to this corner and left click. I'm now going to pull in, let's say about maybe, I don't know, 25 millimeters. Left click, pull up, left click, pull all the way to this edge, left click, pull up, left click, and close. Hit escape to turn your tool off. Turn on your Smart Dimension tool. We are going to make this thickness here is going to be 20 millimeters here, 20. It's also going to be 20 millimeters down here. And that's all we needed. Those two dimensions have made this entire sketch turn black, which means fully defined, which means at this point, SOLIDWORKS is happy, we can go ahead and do an extrusion. Before I do that though, I'm going to go spacebar, isometric view so you can see the extrusion take place. Going to my features toolbar, I'll hit my extrude boss base. Now in this case, my overall height needs to be 40. Since I already have 10 millimeters of it in the base down there, I'm going to extrude this up 30 millimeters and hit enter. I will now hit my check mark and my F key. Okay, so there is the major portion of this. I am now going to go to this face over here and left click on it so it turns blue. Turn on my sketch by going to my sketch toolbar and turning or left clicking on the word sketch. Spacebar, normal to. Turning on my corner rectangle, I'm going to attach to this upper left hand corner, left click, pull down and towards my right, left click. Hit escape to deactivate the tool, and then go up to your toolbar and turn on your Smart Dimension tool. Now, we are going to dimension this 20 millimeters wide by 20 millimeters tall. Okay, and again, I see all my lines are black, which means everything is fully defined, meaning that at this point, I can go ahead and do my extrude cut. Now, before I do that, I'm going to do a space bar, isometric. I'm going to go to my features, extruded cut, and I'm just going to cut this through all. So instead of the blind here, I'm going to drop this down to through all. Hit my green check mark with a left click. Now, I have one more cut to make here. I need to cut a little chunk out of this corner. So I'm going to do that by highlighting this face right here, going to my sketch toolbar and turning on the word sketch with a left click, spacebar, normal to. I'm now going to turn on my corner rectangle tool again. And starting in this upper right hand corner, I'm going to left click and pull down and towards my left. Left click. Hit escape to turn the tool off. Come up and turn on your Smart Dimension tool. Left click on this line to the right and make that 10 millimeters tall. Hit this top line right here and make this 30 millimeters long. Hit your space bar and your isometric view again. And now what I'm going to do is go to my features, extruded cut. Instead of blind, we are going to go through all and hit my check mark. And at this point, the part is done. Okay, so what you're going to do next is then go up here and do a file save as. We're going to save this into our TechEd1 folder. We're going to call this part, do this part 3-2, enter. And then you're going to go up and go to evaluate in your mass properties. And this mass properties here, when it comes up, you're going to have to make sure you know the mass in grams. Okay, if it says anything besides grams, it's a good indication that you don't have MMGS in this corner. You're going to have to rebuild this part in the correct units. So at this point, we are now ready to put this into a drawing. Okay, so now I need to go to a file new, and instead of GHS inch like we did 3-1, we're going to do a GHSA metric since we are doing millimeters. So left click on the metric, hit OK. Excuse me. And now I'm going to go over here and either browse for my 3-2, or if it's already in the open documents, I'm going to double click, I'm going to start with a front view. Make sure my preview is on. Turn on my hidden lines visible, second box in, and change the scale from use custom scale to 1:1 scale. Coming out here to the left, I'm going to left click here, pull up, left click, pull over to my right. We'll adjust that metric box in just a second. Left click, and then pull up and towards my right, left click. Hit escape to tell it you're done. And now we need to make a couple of adjustments here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by changing the size of this and adding color. So anywhere inside that orange box, left click so the property manager to the left pops up. Turn on the color by using the parent style here. Okay, the second box in. Change the scale from parent scale to custom scale. Drop this down 1 to 2. Hit your green check mark. Now, you can see this metric's in the way. In the list, for some reason, the metric box jumped way over here. So a couple things. I'm going to do a left click and hold and drag a crossing window. Let go of your mouse button. Hit your delete key to get rid of that box. I'm going to come over here to the metric and left click and hold and drag it down to the corner. Now, why it's still blue, over to my left where it says border, none, I'm going to drop that to box. Okay, so now it has a box put back on top there. Hit your green check mark. All right, so the preliminary things are done. So now what I want to do is start adding my dimensions. So turning on my smart dimension, I'm going to start clicking on the lines I need to get the numbers on. So this one here will be 30. This line here will give me 10. I will go ahead and flip the arrows to the inside. From here to here will be 10. I'll flip the arrows to the inside, so I'm going to kind of get a little bit tighter here. That's good. Okay. From the top to the bottom will be 40. And then from the far left side to the far right side will be 100. Going over to the right side view here, I'm going to add some numbers. This will be 20. This line right here will be 20. This line right here will be 20. I'm going to flip the arrows to the inside. And then from the far left to the far right, this will be 60. And at that point, I have all my dimensions on the drawing. So I'm going to hit escape to turn that tool off. I'm going to go ahead and adjust a couple some of these boxes, just kind of slide them over, just so there's a little bit more space here. Make it look clean. That looks good up there. All right, so now at this point, I have to add in my information below here. So I'm going to go to my note tool, drop the box right below the part, go through my same thing that I've done in the 3-1 formatting. We're going to change this from font size 9 to font size 12, bold, underline, and centered. Caps lock on, we are going to type the following. Part 3-2, isometric view, enter, bold, underline off, but font is still 12, caps lock still on, scale 1:2, enter, material is brass, enter, and mass equals, and now you are going to type in this. Okay, it was four spots with 2 decimal places, and it's going to end in grams. I'm not going to give you that answer. You're going to get it for me, so I know that you understand how to do mass properties. I'm going to click outside and hit escape. Make any kind of fine-tune adjustments here. That looks good there. Maybe put this a little more centered underneath. And this part of the drawing is now done. Now from here, I'm going to go to the title block and finish this up before submitting this in for a grade. I'm going to change this right here, SOLIDWORKS drawing. I'm actually going to change right away its font from 18 down to 14 because I just know it's really big. I'm going to call this SOLIDWORKS Part Drawing space by space Part 3-2. Click outside. Left click and hold. I'm just going to fine tune so it's in the middle. Where it says GHS student, you're going to put your first initial of your first name, then your last name, all capital letters. If it's not in caps, it will be marked wrong. Today's date, 11/28/20. For you guys, will be the date that you put the part together. Scale 1 to 1, period 3A, we are good to go there. Hit my F key to make sure everything looks good. And then I'm going to do a Control S for saving. Now it's always going to ask you, do you want to make any updates? Always say yes. And then go ahead and save this along with your other parts that you've already created. Okay, part 3-2, and save. Your final task then will be to go back into your assignment here, and you need to upload the part and this drawing into this assignment for grade. Both pieces must be in to get the full grade. Okay, with that said, use the video to your advantage. Rewind, pause, do what you need to do. Of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, good luck.